Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a very exciting start because, well, we've got, as you can see, a little glimpse of our Duke of Djuma, Tingana. And the thing about it, which is exciting, is that he's here with Thandi and the cub. So that means that it's the first time that we know of that Tingana has come to the cub, and Thandi seems to be fairly relaxed about it. She's moving around in this area, and so is the cub. And so it's really good news because it means Tingana now knows there's something to protect, and hopefully is going to come back and try and kind of come here and get some sort of protection for Thandi. The bad news is that it's south of our boundary on Little Gowrie, but I'm excited anyway because, well, who can't be excited at the fact that you've got 1, 2, and 3 leopards all together at once? It's really very, very cool. I have also, in my excitement, completely forgotten to do any of the things that I'm supposed to do. So my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got VM the wildebeest, and I think VM will be just as happy as I am because, well, anytime we see Tingana, VM is a happy lad. VM actually loves Tingana, and, well, Thandi and cub together is always great. So that's a little bit of what's going on. And then also remember that this is live and interactive. So hashtag Safari Live on Twitter and the YouTube chat if you want to ask any questions, or if you are as excited as I am about having these 3 together, then let us know how you feel about that. In fact, we might as well get this off with a bang. Let's do a one-word tweet as to how this all how this makes you feel. The fact that Daddy has come to see what Mom is up to with the little one and whether or not they are nice and safe. And so that maybe means why Thandi moved all the way down here was because Tingana was around and just to seek out some sort of protection from the old boy. And he's looking good. Tingana looks as good as it is, and he's kind of lying down in the drainage. Now, Thandi and the little one, so I was about to say Tumba, but Tumba is long gone since he was kind of part of Thandi's picture. But Thandi, and there's the little cub, Vim, in the background there. It's going away from us, just through that little gap. I just saw some movement there. You can see the little bum wiggling through. So there goes Cubby. So that's 2 of the 3, and there's Mom as well. So Mom and cub, they're slowly moving sort of southwest away from Tingana, but they've spent the whole day, by the looks of things, with him. And so it's really good to see that Tingana has paid some sort of attention. And like I say, it's vitally important. Is he gotten up and gone, Vim? Looks like it. Looks like he's up and moving. So we're going to just reverse back a little bit. Maybe we'll get a better view of what's going on. It's really tough to be in this position because we've got tambutis everywhere. We've got a drainage line, and it's, like I say, all off of our boundary. And so it's really tough to see what's going on. The only problem with this is that I surmise that Thandi and the little one are going to push further south under Tingana's protection, which is not ideal. But hopefully they do come back outside. What I'm hoping is they're going to go west and then cut north back towards Twin Dams, where they'll all kind of frolic together. Wouldn't it be nice to have all 3 of them out in the open and have them together? But let's try and reposition a little bit and see if we can see anything. Kristen, you're wondering if I could see if Tingana had a meal yet. So he is still there, VM. I can still see him now. But let's reverse back and see if we can get anything for Thandi and the cub while we kind of here, and I can still see him. But Kristen, it doesn't look like he's had a massive meal, but he's also not looking skinny. So he looks as though he's somewhat okay. I don't know if he's obviously not in prime shape at the moment, because otherwise he'd be moving around a lot more than he currently is. But he's definitely seems as though he's not too skinny. We can see his kind of hip areas, and his hip areas look okay. Unfortunately, though, I don't think we're going to get a view of Thandi and the cub because it is really just so dense. You can see what we're dealing with at the moment, and that's kind of where she is. She's behind that area somewhere there. So it's just a wall of trees between us and where she is at the moment. But that's okay. We'll eventually get it right, and we'll hopefully get some sort of view of them coming back out a little bit later. Now, all of this is quite frustrating because this morning we tracked her for a long, long time. And obviously got into a situation where we didn't find her for the TV show. We found her about 5 minutes after TV finished. Senzo with Noel actually spotted the little cub on the mound, and then we came and Thandi came out on top as well. So it was nice to kind of see them all together. So right, let's just see. We'll sit here with Tingana for the meantime. It's very difficult to see him. There's really only just a view of his spots in amongst the grass. There we go. You can see a few of the spots behind the fallen over tree. And so while we sit and be patient with Tingana and see what happens, let's send you across to Noel so she can tell you about how she found this little cub this morning and, well, what her plans are for the afternoon. Well, indeed we have, and it looks like Thandi is coming right towards where Tingana is. So Tingana's down at the bottom, and Thandi walked straight in that direction with the cub. So there's, I think that's Thandi's fate. No, that's Tingana. Is that Tingana or Thandi? That's Thandi. Okay, so we've got Thandi there. It's just difficult to keep up with everybody. Everyone's all over the place. Tingana to the right. So this is the first time that we've seen Daddy Tingana with his little one. Now, the little one is there as well. It's just the grass is very, very long. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a flying cub at some point jumping on Mom's head, as we know how that little cub does. But how cool is this? This is just so, so insanely good. I can't be more thrilled to have seen this, because we know that there's been so much danger involved for poor Thandi and the cub with this Hukamuri male around. And so for Thandi to come back into, well, to be able to get into this area, and for Tingana to be around to protect his little one is priceless, priceless, priceless. And super happy. I know it's not on our side, but it doesn't matter. For me, it's still really cool to see, and it's really a little bit of a relief to have kind of Thandi with him. And she seems very relaxed. You see she's walking up to Tingana. She doesn't seem to be too worried. The cub is also in that section as well. And so it's a situation where, well, hopefully she accepts Tingana. Tingana accepts that this cub is his. And, well, everybody's just one happy family at the moment, which is amazing because, well, to see it... There's the little one. I told you it would come flying out at some point. We know how this little one is. It's always full of games, and they keep going kind of south and north, south and north, south and north. So I'm hoping that Thandi's going to come back onto our side at some point and bring this little cub with her. I wonder if she just didn't go here because she sensed Tingana was here, and she just came to introduce the little one to Tingana, make sure that he knows, well, this is your little offspring, and you need to be a better father, and you need to start patrolling Djuma again to protect your little one. So that's what I'm hoping is the case. Now I'm going to go forward a little bit again because it's really difficult, as you can see, for us to get a view. I'm just kind of like going back and forth in one place to try and kind of keep some semblance of a view on both of them. But that is, for me, as good as it can possibly get to have all of them together in one sighting. Now, lads, you're wondering how Tingana knows it's his baby. Well, he would have mated with Thandi, so through a scent he would know that Thandi is a female that he's mated with, and then, you know, he then expects to see an offspring from her. He also has mated with her countless times, and so he knows he's a female in his territory, and therefore hopefully is a individual that he is kind of produced with, and that's why he's accepting of that cub. They have a very sensitive smell and organ that analyzes chemical scent, so her urine, her scent itself will be able to be transported into that organ of Jacobson that sits in the roof of his mouth, and it will analyze that chemical scent, and he will remember, this is a female I mated with, and so this cub is mine. And that's why the females do drift and go outside of their territorial range to be able to then try and get to mate with different males, so that if any of those males on the edges come back to this area, it's a situation where they're able to, or takes over this area, it's a situation where they are fooled into thinking that cub is theirs, even if it isn't. And we also know with leopards that sometimes if they have more than one cub, there can be multiple parents or multiple males involved in that litter. So it's a bit of an interesting one. Tingana doesn't seem to be too sort of concerned about what's going on. He just kind of sits there. He didn't even pop up his head when Thandi came along. He just kind of lay there and was super chilled about life, which is interesting. I would have thought that he would have put up his head when Thandi approached, and just to kind of see what's going on. But at this stage, he, I think, is just in full nap mode. I really, really do want to see Tingana walking. I want to see him coming out and walking and coming towards this area. Can you see them? Do you want me to move, Wildy? So VM says he can see Thandi and cub behind the guarri bush, so I'm going to go backwards. Let's just see. How far, VM? A bit more? No, do you want me to try forwards maybe? I can try forwards. There's going to be a ditch by the time I get this right. Well, we are on the boundary, and I was just saying to VM, it just goes to show how difficult it is to see a leopard, because if you drove past here, you would have absolutely no idea that there is a leopard sitting there. And even now, where we zoomed tight in like that, those spots are barely visible. So it's pretty incredible just to see how well they camouflage. And so Tingana is still having a really good nap. Thandi and cub are also taking it very easy at the moment. Apparently they're further west of us, and the visual on them is also not very good at all. From our side there's 0, but from the southern side it's also apparently not great. But anyway, while we're sitting here, I'm sure many of you have seen news of another little baby leopard that is around the area. So for those of you who don't know, there is a female called the Sibui female. Now, Sibui female comes from Mala Mala. She is not one of the leopards from this area and is not Kuchava, where there's been some confusion as to whether she's Kuchava. She's not Kuchava. There's two different leopards. Kuchava is obviously from Thandi's lineage and Sibui from down south. Now, this female does have a cub, and I know that it was posted on Chitwa that there is a cub. The cub is not on Chitwa itself. So I will repeat that because I've been asked a few times already by a number of people, is the cub on Chitwa? No, it is not on Chitwa, so there is no chance for us to be able to go and find that cub as yet. There is a possibility that it might move up this way, but at this stage, no. The den is on a property called Vessels, which is straight south of Little Gari and is on the double M boundary. So on the Mala Mala boundary, there is a drainage line that comes into the Mulawati there, and that is where the cub is being denned at the moment. Apparently, she did move it slightly west towards Hoffman's Vessels boundary, so it is in that area, and it is quite far from where we are at the moment. The other thing I've been asked is what's happened to Kuchava that this female is here and denning. Well, quite simply, nothing. Kuchava is also denning, but she is denning quite far from where that area is. She's denning in an area on the Cheetah Plains and Nets boundary. There's a big donga system that's there, and she's inside there. No one yet has seen any cubs, but she does have massive suckle marks from what I believe, and I was told that it looks like 2 teats have been suckled on. Now, that could obviously be just one little leopard cub, but it also might mean that there might be 2, so we don't know, but we'll just wait and see how that plays out. But Kuchava does have cubs. It just... nobody has seen them yet. The area that she's denning is very thick, very dense, and very difficult to find anything. So she's just a little bit further east, the Sibui female further west, but both of them are quite far south, and that means that, you know, Thandi is moving around here. What my concern is and my worry is at the moment is where is Shadow and not Barbara, because they have not been seen by anybody. I have not seen an update on them. I have asked around and I cannot get any information on either of them. Nobody knows where they are currently. And that's why I think Thandi has also moved a little bit further south, is because there's been no pressure from Shadow recently. And like I say, it begs the question as to where is Shadow? What is she up to? Is not Barbara alright? Is she still around? Have they dispersed slightly? Have they moved into a slightly different area, onto maybe Hoffman's, where they're not being found a lot? I don't know, but it's an interesting thing. And then once again, the dynamics, there's another spanner that's been thrown in the works of our leopard dynamics. So this time it's in the female world because, well, we just don't know what's going on with Shadow and the cub. It's all kind of upside down, and so I wonder when it all sorts itself out. Max, holy cow, you said, did anyone tell her that? Now, I suppose we're referring to Shadow and Cub, but... well, oh, follow that. Did anyone follow that? So, yes, I know it is confusing, but essentially all you need to know is that there is a female leopard with cubs, we don't know how many, that is south of Chitwa on a Nets and Cheetah Plains boundary. There's another female leopard with another cub that is on the Vessels Hoffman's boundary on Mala Mala side. So that is also south of us, and then there's Thandi and the cub here. And then somewhere in all of this is Shadow and cub. So there's a lot of females with a lot of little ones, and it means the boys have been very busy. What interests me is I want to know who is the father of that Sibui female's cub, because that is very intriguing. Since she is denning on this side, is Tingana made a sneaky movement down there? Has there been another male that's drifting on that southern boundary that we have no idea about? Because I find it very strange that a female would move out of her normal area northwards into a section where she's not that comfortable, hasn't grown up, and den with a cub if she didn't think that the male leopard was dominant in that area. So it's an interesting kind of thing to see what kind of happens and what plays out. Right, while we sit here and wait, we're going to... Well, we're still with Tingana, and as you can see, not much has changed. He popped his head up for about 2 seconds just now, and then decided just to flop it back down again, not really to worry too much about it, and kind of just go to sleep again. So what I think we might do is, I think we might just kind of maybe change our approach here. We might just go for a little loop around Chitwa Dam, just go and see if there's anything happening there, and then come back this way. There are vehicles that are with Thandi and Cub further down, and so if maybe they see anything, they might then call us if they're coming north. So that's probably a good idea, because at the moment we're literally just sitting watching the sort of Tingana's coat in the grass, really. There's not even much of his coat actually visible. It's very difficult to actually see anything. It's just kind of this smudge of spots. So, Judy, wondering if it's unusual for male leopards to protect their cubs? Well, no, indirectly every male leopard protects his cubs by marking territory and patrolling and making sure other males don't come in. Is it unusual that male leopards spend time with cubs and the mother? a little bit more so, but not unheard of. I've seen many different males spending time with their cubs. I've seen Mvula do it, I've seen Anderson do it, Tingana, a male down in the south called Chitwa has done it. So there's all kinds of males. Then often they bump into the females because, well, they're in the same territories and they see the cub, and it's generally around food situations. Also, the males, they're kind of curious as to what's going on. It's a new scent when they smell the female, or if they're tracking them down and they find then the little cub there, and they kind of just check in with what's going on. So seeing them together is not common, but it's not unusual. It's not behavior that I wouldn't expect from a leopard. This is behavior that we should see from leopards, and not something that we really have to worry about too much, or even be too kind of excited about. The only reason I'm excited about it is just because of all the changes that have been happening, and well, anytime you see 3 leopards together is very, very excited. Right, excitable, should I say. Right, well, we're going to head off to Chitwa Dam. We're going to go see what's happening there. We're going to scrounge around. While we do that, let's send you back across to James Henry, who survived his elephant, and well, he's on to the next thing now.